Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos a otro episodio más de Empodérate de Chicanos por la Causa. Welcome to another episode of Chicanos por la Causa, our own podcast, Empodérate. And welcome back, Valeria.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're a pro now. This is your second episode.
I know. You can say, I can take it on myself now.
Yes, absolutely. I love that.
We'll take it little by little.
But it's been a great day. Mm-hmm. We've been we have the opportunity now to interview one of our local leaders, but also very influential. And we'll talk about the special connection and full circle moment for you as well. But let's introduce our next guest.
Yes, so we have our very own Dr. Daniela Portillo, the superintendent for Roosevelt School District. Dani, congratulations, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
Being here, actually.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Very excited. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you're from Honduras, right?
Yes, I am from Honduras. I am. And right now I have the pleasure and the honor and the privilege to be the superintendent in South Phoenix in the Roosevelt School District.
Very, very exciting. Tell us a little bit, your dad used to work for CPLC way back, right?
Yes. So I know we're going to probably talk a little bit about my origin story, right? From Honduras. But just so I'll save my Honduras stories for later. But we immigrated to the U.S. in the 80s. And my dad had the opportunity to work and lead here at Chicanos por la Causa, which was really important to us as a family. The mission, of course, of Chicanos is something that's very special to us. And my brothers and I, we lead in the different fields that we're in. We try to lead knowing that we're here to make this country better and to contribute as Latinos, and then also to make sure that people have a great perspective of what Latinos can offer the U.S.
It's beautiful. I've been working for CPLC for about 15 years, and I hear stories such as yours of leaders that are continue to pay it forward in the next second and third generations. And hearing about them coming to meetings at CPLC or just visiting or participating in events and so forth. And we will show the picture, the adorable picture of you. How old were you when you took the picture on our
I'm guessing CPLC sign? I was maybe 7 or 8 years old. And my dad used to bring me to the CPLC building on Buckeye. Saturdays he would go into the office and he would help me to learn. So he would give me assignments like to take because he was in the finance department. So to take the ledgers, and then my job was to type it in the 10-key machine or 8-key, 10-key, and practice my math through that. So he was always trying to teach us, to read reports and to respond and to translate things into Spanish, so that we kept that connection to our Spanish as well, write letters in Spanish and read some of the literature that we were exposed to in Spanish and volunteer, right? He would also take us with him to different marches and different other trips and visits that he did. So that was a really special and unique opportunity for him to have it as an immigrant here in the U.S. And then that really inspired my leadership and a lot of the work that I do.
How was that growing up for you? De Honduras y luego hablando español. ¿Tenías acento al principio o nada más tu papá? Or how was that?
Bastante. No hablaba inglés.
Oh, no hablabas inglés.
No hablaba inglés, no. So it was tough because my Spanish, I had an accent also, right? Because it's a very different Spanish from the Spanish spoken here and typically spoken in Arizona. So I had a very heavy Honduran accent as well in Spanish. And then in English, it was tough. English language acquisition was really hard for me. It took me quite a while to be able to test out of the English acquisition program. But also my family, in learning English, that was, of course, critical. But like I said, this insistence and persistence in us maintaining our Spanish was something that has been of great value to me now. So not only in our spoken and the vocabulary that we use in family entre nosotros, but really the opportunity to read and write and keep in communication with our families. We didn't have, of course, like cell phones or anything like that. So I had to write letters to my cousins and my grandparents and really keep that unity. And really with the language development in English was just as important as maintaining and continuing to develop our academic Spanish.
How was it? Did you have any other family? Do you guys have any other family
in
Arizona?
No, it was just us. So I asked my parents lots of times, like, how did we come to Phoenix? Yeah. And they said that they chose a place that they hadn't heard of before. That's the story my mom told me, because they thought that must be a very small town and a place that would have very small, type of like family values and community values. And, Phoenix at that time was already a pretty big city. Yeah. But it was tough. It was tough to move from a place, especially with the environment is so different, right? Honduras is a tropical area. The area that we live in in Honduras is very tropical. And we had our family. We were emerging into the middle class at that time over there. Though the origins of my family, they were from the banana plantations, fruit company. City, La Lima is the name of the city. And then my dad, his family origin is from the mountains where they grew tobacco, coffee. So we had very humble origins. But anyway, so we were entering into this middle class. But coming here, we had to start from the bottom financially. And that was hard. It was hard. We grew up right on Buckeye and I think 13th Street was the street that we lived on.
Oh, wow. Yeah, really around the corner from a couple of blocks from CPLC.
Yeah, from CPLC.
Those are the old Latino neighborhoods.
Yes, and from very proud. I remember sitting in the front yard and watching, oh my gosh, the boxer from that area. He was in the Olympics. Carvajal. So I remember Carvajal running down the street with the whole barrio running behind him running in front of my house. And it was something like a part of the city that I still am very proud of to have grown up there. But also it was challenging. There was a lot of drugs and gangs and other challenges in the community that we didn't have in Honduras.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that was hard. Yep.
So how was your journey into education?
Yeah, so I, like most people, I really didn't know where I wanted to what I wanted to do. I did know that I was going to go to college because there was not another option. It didn't occur to me to not go. My family had been talking about college since I was little. So, but we... I went to North High School, so I was in the IB program, which really prepared me to really go into any field I wanted to. I was pretty good at most of the content areas, so I had a lot of choices. And I wasn't thinking I was going to go into education, but I had the opportunity through a sorority that I'm a part of to go and volunteer at a middle school. And we were volunteering with math, and then also several of the ladies that were a couple of years ahead of me were going into education as well. Several of them are also leaders in education now. So they, and seeing what they were doing and in volunteering at the schools is where I found that was my niche, where I felt successful, and I wanted to be a teacher. And I did become a teacher. I never really aspired at that point to do anything else. I think when you're a teacher, when you're a student, or most of us have gone through public school here, you think of teachers first when you think of schools. So I didn't really understand all of the many different careers that are available within a school district until I entered the school district.
You briefly mentioned a sorority she was a part of, but you know more about that story. She's being humble, ladies.
Yes. So Dani is actually one of the 9 charters, right, for Kappa Delta Chi. And actually, I was able to be part of the sorority. Well, I am part of the sorority.
Sisters for Life.
Sisters for Life, and in our story, we always talk about the charters, like, I wonder what they're doing. And when we saw that you became the superintendent, we were like, oh my God, like that's what like a Kitty Kai woman is, always very trailblazing.
Thank you.
Making sure that their like impact is very, very well known and stuff. And it's leading with very nice.
Thank you. That's a great connection. And, leading with faith, right? And making sure that we're leading with purpose. So, yeah, I was actually at Naleo last week. Yeah. And there was a session that was run all about the influences and the opportunities that being in fraternities and sororities have for future leaders or for existing leaders. So that was really interesting to see that Naleo was also highlighting that kind of work.
Yeah, and we were talking about that as well. My experience was not through sorority at the time at ASU, but understanding how does that lay the groundwork? I mean, we can see the connection here as well. Yes. But what was it for you that you said, I need to get involved and see a sorority that, impacts more of of people that, looks
color.
Like me?
Yeah, of color. So, I met some wonderful ladies, the other charters, and we met actually. One of our friends was already a sorority member in another university in Tucson, and at the U of A, and we were all at a celebration for Latino Caribbean cultures, and that's where we kind of came together because one of them was from Nicaragua, another Puerto Ricans. We had some from Arizona, from Mexican backgrounds, and myself, and so we came together. And I think that's where we just really, there was a spark between all of us, right? We were all so different too, especially, like we just had so many different cultures. And even the young ladies women now, right, that grew up in the U.S., we were from the East Coast, from Florida, from New York, from Phoenix, from different places. And so even culturally and even our socioeconomic challenges that we went through were so diverse. So we were able to come together and really click. And I think it just happened organically that we became friends. And we were seeking a way to also build our leadership, to contribute. And the idea came from one of the members. In fact, I just saw her on Wednesday. Was that yesterday? At another event that we had at our district to support our immigrant families. So I saw her there, and it was great to continue to run into these women across the nation who are doing great things. And not only in our sorority, Kappa Delta Chi, but also there's so many others, and we share so much. At the time when you're in it, you're like rivals. But really, when you grow up, we're all in it together, right? And we all have the same values, the same type of experiences, and really this purpose of trying to make things better for Latinos. I do want to shout out to the Black sororities on ASU's campus. At that time, they were also supportive in helping us establish our philanthropies and a lot of the work that we were doing. So we really, though it's a Latina sorority, we're accepting of all cultures. And at the time, we really received a lot of support from other organizations that were ready to step up and help us establish and be strong.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and just thank you for creating that space because, 27 years later, I was able to enjoy that. And how you said, now once I graduated, being able to connect, people that are in other sororities, like, oh, like you're in like LSG, you're in, all these other ones, like, that's so cool. Like, what was it like? And everybody's just kind of connected. How we were talking a little earlier in the other episode, the 6 degrees
of separation.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's very, very cool.
Yes. Thank you for asking about that. And I'm glad to see that connection. That's great.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to see this, right? Because then you see what you're leaving behind for others, not only, and as young as you are, that you can see the efforts are paying off in making those connections and elevating, empowering women such as yourself and the next generations.
And that was in 1994. So, I know we've had lots of different groups come through, but it's amazing. I'll be all over the country, and when you find out that you have that connection, it's like it's this immediate bond.
Of course.
Right? And then, of course, it extends even if you're not in Katie Kai, but you're in one of the other ones, there's still this bond. And even if you're in one of the other sororities of color, there's still this bond that connects you.
So speaking of bond, you came back to South Central Phoenix and continue your education, but in addition to the impact in your classroom with the kids that you got every year, you made a decision to impact a greater group of kids in one of district here in Phoenix in Arizona that has been very important, making a lot of milestones, but at the same time, a lot of challenges.
Absolutely.
You mentioned coming from and being raised after you came to the U.S. in a challenged neighborhood that had a lot of needs.
Yes.
And then now you decided to take on this challenge and impact greater community of South Central Phoenix. How was that decision made, and what has that been like?
Yeah. So, I've had throughout my career a lot of people that have recognized leadership in me and have tapped me on the shoulder for me to compete for the next opportunity. So at the time, I was the principal at Carl Hayden High School.
You did?
Yeah.
I went to Carl Hayden. You're
a Falcon for life.
Veronica too. She's out here.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness,
Really?
So awesome.
Thank you. The first and only female principal that Carl Hayden has ever had, which is exciting and sad at the same time, right?
Yes. Unfortunately, I had a male film. I mean, he was great too, but I see the need. And then you broke record again and being a Latina. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being the first Latina in Roosevelt. So I was at Carl Hayden and one of my colleagues at Phoenix Union had just been named the superintendent in the Roosevelt School District at the time, Dr. Quentin Boyce. And we started talking about him going over there. And I had been a principal previously to Carl Hayden in the elementary system and wanting to really, he needed the elementary experience on his cabinet. So he was telling me about this opportunity, and I competed and I had the opportunity to be there over academics. And then when he moved on to the university, then I had the opportunity to compete to step into the superintendency. So, but again, oftentimes it takes other people to nudge you, right? And that's why I really want to be that person for other women and males. But I do take a special interest in making sure that I'm always seeking the leadership in females and being that person that helps to nudge them along to the next step. And why, if I could do it and there's nothing special about me, then why can't you? Right? Not that I've achieved the highest level, but it is an achievement that not very many people get to be a superintendent, and it's something that I really have embraced. Now, as far as the challenges in South Phoenix, I couldn't see myself leading in a place that isn't like that, right? And I love South Phoenix because it's so close to where I grew up. But also, I don't do it because it's because of the title or because of the salary. It really is my purpose to make this country better. And I can do it through my gift, and it has been leadership and academics, right? So I can't see myself doing anything different. I love it. I have had, some inquiries come in from other districts and other cities and other places, but I love being here in Phoenix and serving in that community and communities where there's so many people like us struggling and also thriving. And as far as the challenges, what I've said to so many people is that they don't hire us to sit there and look pretty.
It's true.
They hire us to make a difference. And I'm blessed. My previous board is very courageous. They're great leaders as well than my current board. So we're blessed right now to have this governance team and executive team that is courageous. And this is our opportunity and our chance to do hard things. We say that we can do hard things. We have matching bracelets that say that. That we look at and remind ourselves we can do hard things. My board president just reminded me that of yesterday we had a big challenge, and I was speaking to her about that. And she's like, remember, we can do hard things, and we absolutely can. And we've been called to this time together. Like there was something, a higher power that brought us right now at this time in this place to make a difference as a unit. So yeah, I'm very proud and very happy and grateful to be there in Roosevelt.
So a few years ago, I attended a roast at ASU.
Oh, yes, that's right.
And I was coming back quietly with a group of women back to the, ¿cómo se llama? The parking lot. And that's where I met you. And I was like, oh my God, you're Latina and you speak Spanish and you're the superintendent of the school district. I was so proud.
Thank you.
And it's one of those things like you feel so connected. Like a piece of my identity is there with you.
Yes.
And that you're taking it along in representing the rest of the families as you look at how do you create long-standing impact and make those hard decisions. And I've seen you make them, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Because it takes a true leader to be able to step up, be brave, and look at the long-term benefit.
Thank you. You know, whenever we're faced with those hard decisions, we've also been blessed to have such a supportive community. So some of the decisions we've made have been very public. And at the time, to be able to look at the audience and see so many people rooting us on from the neighborhoods, outside of the neighborhoods, coming together, that really gives me a lot of courage to know that, yes, these things are difficult and sometimes they're unpopular, but also there's a lot of people that recognize that this is our chance to make things better and different. So yes, it takes a lot of courage on my end, but also, like I said, our board, our team, and then also the community itself. I know that they have my back, and I believe that they know that I have theirs.
Yeah,
that's beautiful. And, you know, what's a piece maybe of advice that you would give somebody, you know, that's thinking of, you know, taking that next step?
Yes. I would say to be really good at the job that you currently have so that when you go to your next role, you can lean on all of those leadership experiences. So whatever your role is, make those courageous decisions. Make those hard decisions then, because when you go into different levels, it's more and more public, and there's more at stake. And you want to make sure that you are mentally and that your body has this muscle memory to really stand in difficult spots, right? And you can do that in the if you're in education, in the classroom as a teacher. You can do that as a building principal, in whatever role you have, even as the custodians in our buildings. You know, we want to make sure that these learning environments are healthy and clean and beautiful for our students. Even in those areas, they can stand in their courage, stand in difficult spots. So be really good at the job that they do. And also don't limit themselves. We often spend so much, at the same time as we want to get good at the job we have, we often spend so much time preparing. And preparing and not launching, right? So sometimes you just have to go. I would say, no, I'm going to be 50, so I'm not that young. So I'm going to be 50. And when I think of that, there's other colleagues that I have, males, successful males that didn't, they stepped into the role earlier than I did. With less preparation, and they were very successful. So why not us, right? So yes, prepare, be good at the job you have, but also don't limit yourself and don't second guess yourself too much. And there's a certain humility that we're just good at, I think, naturally in our culture. So rather than trying to be someone else, just be yourself. You know, I lead in a certain way, and that's my way, and that's my strength. And I don't have to be a different person. You know, just make sure that you identify. So I would say, again, don't limit yourself. Get good at the job you currently have, and also get comfortable and strong in your strengths and your own style.
Very, very nice. I think that's a really good way to not just live your life like career-wise, but like your life outside of your career as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Is there a particular moment that comes to mind that you continue to go back to that motivates you to keep going?
You know, when I have a really hard thing to do, I think through other challenges that I've been able to overcome. Mm-hmm. So coming to the U.S., not speaking the language, right? I mean, my parents are amazing. They're another leadership for another podcast.
Yes.
But, they brought me here. And not knowing the language, having so many other paths I could have taken, right, with that were not have been as healthy because there was an abundance of some negative things in our communities as well. And being able to overcome that, knowing that I was able to do that. And then also, I always think about some personal challenges I had. So, I helped nurse my mom during the last months of her life. And then I was also a principal. And also I was coming out of the breakup of a divorce. And all those things happen at the same time. And I think if I was able to manage all of those things, then I can do anything, right? So I think that there's these things as women that we go through that we believe that it's just being a woman. Well, not very many people can do all the things that just naturally come as strengths to us. So yes, when I get challenged, I think through, I overcame that and I came out stronger. I was able to be a strong daughter at the time, a strong daughter to my dad as well, a sibling to my brothers, and really bring our family together because, her and I were the only two girls. Mm-hmm. I really think back to that. And then also, she was such a fighter. And she would tell me, she would say things like, she's so funny. So she would say things like, no, oh my gosh, let me think of one. Like, and I know you can edit. So she used to say things like, I'm thinking of one that I can say that doesn't have bad words.
We can edit those too.
So she would say, y no es para eso que te pagan. Things like that. No es para eso que te pagan. O acaso te tienen ahí para estarte bonita. Y no es para hacerlo feliz que te contrataron. Things like that. Es para ayudar a los niños. And then, when her and I would chat about all these challenges I would have. So yeah, I always think that she and my dad left everything that they had behind for us. So there's no way that I can come here and just be mediocre or average. I have to fulfill my purpose. And I do believe that the role that I have right now is my purpose.
And you are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you.
So thank you for your courage and sticking to it. Y no quedarte como bonita nada más.
Yeah. Solamente.
Porque también para eso hay. Mucho. So what do you do to relax? Mm-hmm. Like to unwind?
Yeah.
How do you have a good time?
People ask me that all the time, but this work is also my joy. I really think that this is my purpose. So yes, I go to my job and that's my work, but also because it's my passion, it really fuels me. It fuels my energy. And, outside of work, I'm always reading about other leaders. I'm always learning about new instructional techniques for our students. And I'm learning about financial structures for school districts, learning about governance, all that, because it's my life. Like, I really love what I do. So it is my passion. But also, I make time to nurture my marriage, right? And my mom also taught me that, you have to take time to nurture your marriage. So, I have a very strong partner and he's wonderful and I love spending time with him. I also love gardening and I love my animals, my dogs. We're very close with them.
What are their names?
Hondo, he's named after Honduras. So Hondo. Cali, because my husband grew up and is from California. And then Sparky, because we're ASU Sun Devils. So Sparky. Yes, and I was also blessed. My husband brought my bonus children into my life. So my one of them still lives with us, Ricky. And spending time with Ricky and watching him grow into being a strong man, that's something that I really enjoy as well.
So what is your favorite food before we go? I'd love to find out. What is de Honduras? ¿Cuál es la La comida o la bebida que todos deberíamos de probar.
Well, everybody says pupusas, but then El Salvador is like, where pupusas are ours? So I would say yuca con chicharrón.
Las dos cosas me gustan. ¿Fritas?
Yeah. Yes, yuca frita con chicharrón, and then you can put some repollo and chimol on top. It's delicious.
I think that's what we can be having for
lunch.
Yeah. I think so too.
And of course
sounds delicious.
Of course, the famous from Honduras is sopa de caracol, which is also,
como la canción.
Como la canción.
Sopa de caracol.
Yep.
Dani, it's been such a pleasure, Dr. Portillo. Thank you so much for taking the time to come over. Gracias también a Magali Rivera, tu directora, que facilitó esta entrevista and all the work that you guys are doing for our kids there in
Thank you.
And the entire community.
And by the way, she's an alumni of the Roosevelt School District. So.
That's right. Yes, I remember. She went to also South Mountain Community College. So she's
and
at
South Mountain High School too.
All the way, yeah. So South Phoenix kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, it's been a pleasure. We hope to have you back here pretty soon.
Absolutely.
On what's next for you and Roosevelt School District pretty soon. So thank you for joining us here in Empoderate.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.